Hello, my dear students, and welcome back. Exams are just around the corner. I know. And this chapter on India's cultural roots can feel a little tricky, but don't you worry at all. In the next few minutes, we're going to break it all down, make it super simple, and help you lock in those full marks. Let's get started.
Okay, so to really get our culture, I want you to picture something in your mind. A huge, giant banyan tree, just like this one. You've seen them, right? It has these deep, ancient roots, a super strong trunk, and then, wow, hundreds of branches spreading out everywhere. Our Indian culture is exactly like this tree. So many different beliefs and ideas, but they're all connected, all growing from the same soil.
So where do we even begin? Well, we have to start at the very beginning. Let's go way down to the oldest, deepest roots of our cultural tree, the Vedas.
Now, what does this word Veda even mean? It's actually super simple and beautiful. It comes from the Sanskrit word vid, which means knowledge. Hey, you all know the word vidya for school and education, right? It comes from that exact same root. So the Vedas are, quite simply, the OG books of knowledge.
There are 4 of them: the Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, and Atharva Veda. And here's the part that'll totally blow your mind, and you have to remember this for your exams. For thousands of years, they weren't written down. Can you believe it? They were passed from teacher to student, generation after generation, just by perfect memorization. I mean, wow. It's such an incredible achievement that UNESCO actually calls it a masterpiece of human heritage. How cool is that?
So, what's the single most important message from these ancient roots? It's all captured in this one powerful line from the Rig Veda. It means the ultimate truth or reality is one. But wise people, the sages, they describe it in lots of different ways and give it many names. It's kind of like how we have many names for God, right? But deep down we understand the supreme power is one. This Veda is the seed of India's great idea, unity and diversity.
Okay, exam alert. Let's pause right here, because this is a classic, super important exam question. Pay close attention, my dear students. This often comes for 2 or 3 marks. What are the Vedas and what is their core message? Come on, let's make the perfect answer together.
For a full marks answer, you just need to remember these 4 little points. Super easy. 1. They are 4 ancient texts. 2. They were passed down by word of mouth for thousands of years. 3. Their core message is truth is one. And 4. They call for unity among all people. Simple, right? Make a little note of this, Bucka.
All right, let's get back to our awesome tree. From those deep Vedic roots, the soil was super fertile, And so 2 new, really powerful branches started to grow out. These were the schools of thought started by 2 extraordinary individuals, the Buddha and Mahavira.
First, let's talk about a prince named Siddhartha Gautama. He lived this totally sheltered life inside a palace, completely protected from the outside world. But one day he went out, and for the very first time he saw an old man, a sick person, and a dead body. This experience just shook him to his core, and he became obsessed with finding the answer to one huge question: why is there so much suffering in the world?
And you know what's amazing? Around the same time, there was another prince, Vardhamana, and his story is so similar. He also left all his royal comforts and his family behind at the age of 30 to begin a long, difficult search for spiritual truth.
So, how did Prince Siddhartha become the Buddha? It's a simple 3-step journey, very easy to remember. First, he witnessed suffering. Second, he left his palace to find its root cause. And third, after years and years of meditation under a peepal tree in Bodh Gaya, he finally found the answer and became the enlightened one, the Buddha.
This slide is great because we can compare their teachings side by side. The Buddha's main goal was to end suffering by removing our ignorance. For Mahavira, who became known as the great hero, the goal was to conquer one's inner self. And look at their methods. For Jainism, Mahavira gave 3 golden rules: Ahimsa, which you know means non-hurting; Anekantavada, a cool idea that truth has many sides and we should respect different viewpoints; and Aparigraha, which means not being attached to material things.
So, we have the Vedic roots, and we have the new branches of Buddhism and Jainism. So what holds them all together? Well, it's the big, strong trunk of our cultural tree, the core ideas that they all shared, because they all grew from the same Indian soil. Just look at these powerful common values: Ahimsa, non-hurting; Karma, you know this one, the law of cause and effect; Dharma, living the right way; the belief in rebirth; and the central goal that all of them shared, the search for a way to end suffering. These ideas form the very heart of Indian philosophy.
And here is such a beautiful illustration of Ahimsa in action. This is a stone carving from a Jain temple. A lion and a cow, who are natural enemies, right, are peacefully drinking from the same bowl. It's such a powerful symbol of peaceful coexistence, a little reminder that harmony is always possible.
But wait, our tree isn't complete yet. Beyond the major roots that we can see easily, there are some hidden roots, deep down in the soil that have been nourishing this tree for centuries. I'm talking about the rich, folk, and tribal traditions of India.
You know, today, India's tribal population is over 10 crores, and their contribution to our culture is just immense. Look at this beautiful Warli painting from Maharashtra, for example. It's not just art, it's a form of storytelling, sharing wisdom about nature and community.
And this is really important. It was a two-way exchange of ideas. As the sociologist Andrei Bataille noted, it's not just that Hinduism influenced tribal religions also deeply influenced Hinduism. A great example is Lord Jagannath of Puri, who is believed to have originally been a tribal deity. This constant mixing and sharing is what makes Indian culture so uniquely rich.
So, after exploring the deep roots, the strong trunk, the new branches, and the hidden roots, what do we get? We get the fruit of this incredible tree, which is our greatest strength: unity in diversity. If you want to see a perfect, real-life example of this unity, look no further than the amazing Ellora caves. I mean, Hindu temples, Buddhist monasteries, and Jain caves were all carved out of the very same mountain, standing right next to each other. It is literal, solid rock proof of how these different traditions coexisted in harmony for centuries. It's just incredible.
So, this great tree of Indian knowledge is thousands of years old. And my final question to you is this: which of its ideas, Ahimsa, unity, the message that truth is one, do you think our world needs most today? Think about it. That's all for this explainer. I really hope it was helpful. All the very best for your exams. I know you will all do fantastically well. Bye for now.